Of cooking and selective skills, there is one book I'm actually reading at the moment, and I do want to review it at some point on here, but not yet because I'm still reading it. It's the Autism Cookbook, or the Autism Friendly Cookbook, by Lydia Wilkins, who's an autistic journalist. Interestingly, the cookbook it's trying to make cooking easy for autistics, and it does contain sort of recipes that kind of from easy to more complex recipes, depending upon energy levels and skill sets, etc. And in her research, she found that the majority of autistic people struggle with cooking, but I don't know exactly who she spoke to or who she talked to, because I know there must be other autistics like me who happen to be good at cooking, but I got the book not because I struggle with cooking, cooking's my strength, but because I'm interested in food, and obviously autism, and I'm autistic, so that's why I got the book. By the way, I do want to caveat that, by the way, that although I am really good at cooking, I want to say that the context varies. Sorry, the context is really important. So what I mean by good at cooking is that I'm good at cooking in my own kitchen, but when I was at school, it was a different story. So when I was doing food technology, I had to have a teaching assistant with me. I hated it. A teaching assistant with me because I basically couldn't do it fast enough, because obviously, you know, like at food technology at school, you only have like an hour and you have to like work really fast, and I was really, really messy, and because of my slow processing speed, and I cannot operate according to times like that, I cook, but I need to spend a lot of it takes me hours to cook. Okay, that's what I mean by it taking up all my day. But because it's my special interest, I invest in it. Obviously, again, means I don't have time for other things, which is why I literally do spend my life in the kitchen. Well, most of my life in the kitchen, if I'm not on Twitter, kind of decompressing, because obviously, you know, energy, I need to decompress. Twitter is where I go to kind of let my brain just kind of zone out for a bit, because I need that, because otherwise it's full on. But yeah, it does tend. I do spend most of my life in the kitchen because I love cooking, because that's my special interest. Kitchen is my favourite room in a house. I'm filming this in the kitchen, by the way. I do spend most of my time in the kitchen. I most of the time in the kitchen or the bedroom. But yeah, when I was at school, food tech teacher got very frustrated. She would say things like, "Oh, I wouldn't touch that with a barge pole." She would say things because basically, like, whatever I'd made would be absolutely like completely messed up, and there would be flour everywhere, and like things dumped everywhere, and I didn't do the washing up properly and stuff, because I couldn't work to speed. I couldn't do it fast enough, and I couldn't follow her instructions, again, because slow processing speed. So yeah, so when I was at school, completely different story in their kitchen. When I'm in my own kitchen, and I operate according to my rules, and in fact I need lots and lots of time, so I might be spending about 3 hours, I allow myself about 3 hours to make a meal, eat a meal, and wash up, okay? 3 hours, okay, because I need that time, because it literally takes me, and also I need to have time afterwards to decompress, which is like a processing time afterwards. So I allow myself, it can take me that amount of time, potentially. So I do it, not always, it depends what I'm making, but I do need, I err on the side of caution. So even though I'm making a simple pasta meal, I will, well, for that, yeah, I will probably allow about 2.5 hours. That's what I mean. So yeah, so it's fine when I'm cooking on my own, but obviously you wouldn't have that amount of time in a school kitchen. And also, people often say, "Oh, you could go and get a job working in a kitchen." Yeah, that's never going to happen. It's like, seriously, are you on some other planet? Like, because people don't understand. Again, it's the spiky profile thing. Well, I can't work anywhere, and a lot of that's due to my OCD, by the way, which obviously makes things even more work. I'm never going to be able to work. That's what people. Yeah, I'm never going to be able to work. That's just being realistic. At least not like a normal job, because of all my problems. It's just never going to happen unless like someone waved a magic wand and cured all my problems. That would be great. But seriously, that's never going to happen. But yeah, or people say, "Oh, you can set up your own business." Now, maybe if I had someone helping me who knew how to set up a business and did all the paperwork and everything, maybe, just maybe. But unfortunately, I'm not that. I don't have. You know, I need someone to do all the paperwork and all the managing. Maybe I now could sell cakes. Maybe. But yeah, I sort of feel like autistics who do manage to do things like that are often very lucky because they have like someone there, like maybe a parent or someone who's business savvy and can do all the paperwork for them and stuff. Unfortunately, like I'm a solo person, I don't have any friends or connections or anything, and I couldn't set up a business because I don't have that support network to help me because I need so much support to do it. You know, it remains a fantasy. I mean, that would be great and amazing, but that's just, and also the amount of executive functioning that require in terms of for things I'm not able to focus on, like because of the spiky profile thing, I can focus on cooking and doing amazing cooking and stuff for that, but it's very mono-focused. For the other stuff, like paperwork and stuff and all those other executive requirements that would be needed to like set up a business, I don't have unless someone else were to do all of that for me and I could just focus on the mono thing about of like creating basically. And also then you'd have to operate according to deadlines and other people's requirements, which my autism doesn't allow. So that just shows how just because I have this skill doesn't mean it can be translated into something like that. Unfortunately, I wish it could, but just being realistic. And as I've already told you, the fact that I have a really condensed day and the amount of energy that goes into these things is phenomenal. So that's kind of a little bit about Posting Speeder's Viking profile, and I do want to talk about that book. The other thing, at some point, I do want to review it. But yeah, so basically, yeah, I'll be doing a lot of cooking over the Christmas period. I made some gingerbread. I made a gingerbread house because I had a gingerbread house kit from the Baked In company. That's the first baked in baking kit where everything's measured out for you. That's the first time I've actually made a gingerbread house. It did work and it didn't work. Part of the gingerbread broke up, so when I was trying to put the house together, it was a little bit kind of topsy-turvy, but it still looked good enough, and I was pleased with the result, and it does taste very, very nice. Most of it's in the freezer now, so I can defrost it when I need some. So yeah, done lots of cooking, basically, made a gingerbread house, lots of other things, mainly just cooking. Tried some amazing hot chocolate from Whittard's. Whittard's gingerbread hot chocolate, absolutely amazing, with mini marshmallows. That I'd ordered. The other thing, as you know, I'm very into is crafting. I'm a bit obsessed with that. That's kind of like my other special interest at the moment. I'm really, really into crafting and collecting craft. I've got so many craft books now. I've got so many craft books. And one craft, I just love crafting. I just got really into it. Knitting, crafting, everything. I don't know what that's about. I already love cooking, so maybe it's not a big, which is already quite. Which in a way is a craft anyway, isn't it? So, but I've just got into like all the other crafts, and one craft site that I would recommend, even though it's aimed at kids, is Red Ted Art. Now it's aimed at kids, okay, and I'm obviously not a kid; I'm an adult. But I think it's a really good site because although it's aimed at kids, it's really accessible, and like they make crafting really easy and accessible, and particularly I need like instructions like really clearly spelled out and all everything done like very, very step by step so that it's really easy to understand and follow. And that's what Red Ted does. It's really, really good. And I've recently ordered one of their books, which I'm very much looking forward to. It's the papercraft book because I'm getting quite into paper crafting as well, because that's like a really accessible craft because all you really need is paper, scissors and glue, and you can do so much with paper and like make so many different things. So I've ordered the Red Ted Papercraft book. As I say, it is aimed at kids, although this one is aimed at I think older kids, like teenagers. But like it doesn't matter though, I'm an adult, but it doesn't matter, at the end of the day, crafting is for everyone, playing is for everyone, it doesn't matter what age you are. And a lot of these crafts like adults can enjoy as well anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's written by, I think she's called Maggie Woodley. You set up Red Ted, and there's on Facebook, I do follow them on Facebook, and she did quite a good tutorial on how to make a smash book as well, which is like a bit like a junk journal, although a bit different because it's more like a scrapbook. Although there are differences between scrapbooks, junk journals, and smash books, but the distinctions are quite blurry, really. They're quite blurry, really. But yeah, I've been following her tutorial on how to make a smash book because I really want to make one. So yeah, that's something else I'm really into. So check out Red Ted Art because if you're into that sort of thing, it's a very good Facebook Facebook page, and there's also a YouTube tutorials. very, very good. So that's something else I'm very, very interested in at the moment. Yeah, so keeping me sane, because hell, I'm still stuck at home because of COVID situation. That's something else no one talks about this, all the people stuck at home because of COVID, OCD, anxiety. It's like we don't exist. That really pisses me off. It's like, yeah, that's not, yeah, my life is very, very, lots of anxiety. So yeah, I guess these obsessions, if you want to call it that, kind of keep me sane, and because when I'm thinking about these things, I'm not thinking about all the other things that are making me anxious. So it's kind of a positive interest in that respect, because it stops me thinking about everything else that's making me anxious, and there's so much to be anxious about at the moment. So yeah, so thank you for watching.